Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Santiago Gomez, business developer at Dapango Technologies. And with me is Alberto Davila, our CEO. And on behalf of Dapango Technologies, it's a pleasure to welcome you to this space for learning and reflection. Today, we're going to change your perspective on how to build a resilient future for your organization. We will focus on key decisions that fortify your adaptability and position you to move forward with confidence in the face of any challenge. All right, so let's imagine this scenario. A hurricane hits your city, the power goes out, and you lose access to your critical systems. In those moments, the decisions you make today will define your ability. Successful organizations stand out for their accurate preparation and strategic foresight. And in this session, we will explore how to develop authentic and sustainable resilience, because business continuity is a powerful strategic decision. During this webinar, you will discover practical tools, proven strategies, and innovative solutions that will help you face adversity with confidence. Welcome to a space designed for visionary leaders, those who guide their organizations with a strategic mindset toward a resilient future. This webinar is tailored for leaders in technology, operations, and compliance, as well as key professionals in law, healthcare, finance, and beyond. At Dapango Technologies, we understand that fortifying continuity and protecting your infrastructure is a shared responsibility. Delaying these actions can lead to real consequences, from significant staff cuts to legal and financial penalties that endanger the stability of your entire operation. For example, non-compliance with regulations like HIPAA can result in civil penalties of up to $1.5 million per year and up to $250,000 and 10 years in prison for serious criminal violations. Under PCI DSS, penalties can range from $5 to $100,000 per month, in addition to losing the ability to process card payments. So I want you to know that these numbers don't just affect your finances. They break down the trust of customers, partners, and investors. And once your reputation is damaged, it's very difficult to rebuild it. Whether you're a CEO, CIO, IT manager, attorney, or a physician, this session offers tools and strategies to ensure your organization's resilience. Your presence here confirms your commitment to protect and grow your organization. So, Alberto, what can we share with our guests?
Well, Santiago, we're living through a historic season. The 2025 hurricane season represents a historic challenge for operational resilience. The 2025 hurricane season continues to exceed expectations. While the Atlantic is forecasted to produce 16 named storms, including hurricanes Ricardo, Julia, and Marco, at least 3 are expected to reach a Category 3 or higher, posing a direct threat to infrastructure and business continuity. If you remember Hurricane Milton, back then it was one of the most extreme events on record. It reached a Category 5 with sustained winds over 160 miles per hour and made landfall in Yucatan. And before moving towards the Gulf of Florida, the disasters were like huge. Over 6 million people were evacuated, and the storm left behind severe flooding and structural damages across Mexico and the US. So this adds to the recent crisis like Storm Vera in 2024 and the blackout in Spain, which exposed critical vulnerabilities in the energy sector and digital systems. Regions like Florida, the Caribbean, Central America, and now Texas are at the epicenter of risk. Resiliency is no longer optional. It is strategic and imperative. If you know, we are facing Hurricane Eric right now. So it just made landfall, I believe was this morning. So the Atlantic is right now momentarily calm, but the Eastern Pacific remains active. So it's Hurricane Eric, I believe, is a Category 3 storm, and it's already causing floodings and damages, and some emergency alerts has been risen, even in US, in North Carolina. So people needs to be aware because these things are happening now. The 2025 season is far from over, so preparedness must remain a top priority for all vulnerable regions. Before we continue, I would like to ask a quick question to the audience. When someone asks about your disaster recovery plans or how you protect your data, which of these have you heard or even said in your organization? We have backups we're covered. Our cloud provider handles that. We've never had a serious incident. Insurance covers everything. We already have a plan we made years ago. IT has it under control. Well, those statements are sounds reasonable, right? But they are illusions, and the data show us why. Let's do some myth busting here. 60% of small businesses close within 6 months of a major disaster. 70% of traditional backups fail when the restoring operations try to make it work. Many insurance policies don't cover tech disruptions or cyber attacks. 40% of companies have never tested their backup plans. And a key fact, cloud service providers and cloud service contracts include a shared responsibility clause. Not everyone is aware of the shared responsibility model, and you should be. Providers warranty infrastructure availability, but data is your responsibility. So protecting and the recovery process is entirely up to you. So I have questions for the leaders on this call. Is your recovery plan documented and up to date? Does your team know what to do even if everything goes down tomorrow? Are your backups verified and accessible in real time? Do you know your RTOs and RPOs? Are they aligned with your business goals? Have you tested your plan in real world simulations? Do you have visibility into the risks of your critical vendors and providers? Does your insurance policy covers digital outages, ransomware, or third-party failures? Do you know exactly what your cloud service contract covers and what it doesn't? Reflect on it. Having a plan is a good start, but resilience is built through testing, awareness, and strategic leadership. This is the moment to move from a passive confidence to active, intentional preparedness. Right, Santiago?
You're right, Alberto. When a disaster strikes, there's no room for improvising, guys. Technical weaknesses that once seemed invisible become real obstacles. And to show you that, this is what many organizations face at the most critical moments. So the backups fail because they were never verified. The critical workloads are hosted in a single zone with no geographic redundancy. Recovery plans exist only on paper. That's crazy. They were never tested under real conditions. Can you imagine that? Cloud architectures lack segmentation and automation for recovery, and teams are unclear about their roles during a crisis. In other words, a total disaster. And these are not isolated cases. They are predictable trends across companies of all sizes and industries. But the most important part is that they are preventable. Each of these points can become an operational advantage when addressed with intention and strategy. And you're here today to identify those gaps and turn them into strengths.
So before we continue, I think it's at the right moment to work on some terms and clarify some of them. If any of the terms we've used so far are unfamiliar, let's take a moment to clarify them and align everything. And let's start with disaster recovery. So disaster recovery is the ability of an organization to resume operations after a major disruption, whether caused by a hurricane, a ransomware, cyber attack, or a technical failure, or even a human error. So like having an emergency kit at home, it does not prevent the disaster from happening, but it helps you act quickly and clearly. Then let's move to the business continuity plan. Basically, it's the ability to keep operating even when something goes wrong, like having an alternate route to work when there's a lot of traffic. That sounds like it. The contingency plans, these are clear guidelines on what to do, who does what, and how to act during a disruption. It's like a pilot's checklist, right? Precise, practice, and most importantly, followed under pressure. It's not just about having a plan, but knowing how to execute it when every second counts. Okay, moving to backups and restoration. These are copies of your data and the ability to recover them quickly and securely. It's like storing the most valuable items in a safe. But if you never check the log, how do you know it still works? A backup that's never tested is like a safe that might be empty or worse, jammed when you need it the most. Let's go to RTOs and RPOs, which are really interesting concepts that not everyone considers or are aware of them. So the RTO is recovery time objective, which is the maximum acceptable downtime. And an analogy for that is how long you can go without power before the food in your refrigerator spoils. And the RPO, which is the recovery point, objective is the maximum acceptable data loss. So how much data are you able to lose and continue operating? An analogy for that is how many photos you'll lose if your phone breaks and you haven't backed it up in a week. I can tell my wife will lose a lot because she takes like 60 photos per hour of our kiddos. So that is what is the point in time you'll feel comfortable recovering. Knowing these metrics helps you make decisions aligned with your business. We previously talked about the share responsibility model, which is something that not everyone is aware of. The providers guarantees the infrastructure. You are responsible for the data, backing it up, restoring it, safeguarding it. Like renting an office. When you rent an office, the landlord maintains the building, but the locks, the door, and everything inside the office is your responsibility. Being in the cloud doesn't mean you're automatically protected. Let's move to simulation and testing. It's basically that simulations, running scenarios, real world scenarios to validate that your plan works. Okay, remember the pilot's checklist. It needs to be able to be followed under pressure. So you need to practice it. Like the school fire drills, right? When people in the school do every month, they test alarms works and everything's great. Prepare until you test it, you don't know if it works. About risk visibility, understanding which processes, systems, or vendors are like checking your car before a long trip. You cannot protect what you don't see or recognize as a risk. And these aren't just technical concepts, they are strategic ones. Understanding them and applying them is what separates resilient leaders from others in crisis. So I want to construct on your imagination and make yourself put in the shoes of two different persons. So imagine it's just Tuesday. Everything starts out normal until 8 in the morning when a Category 4 hurricane makes landfall. Like Hurricane Maria did in 2017, that day Puerto Rico went completely dark. The entire power grid collapsed. Over 95 of telecommunications towers failed. Communications, internet, access to critical services disappear. Losses exceeding the $90 billion. Thousands of businesses never reopened after Maria. So picture two companies located in the same area. A company without preparation, like 8:15 in the morning, power goes out. No generators, no alternate energy source. 8:30, communications fails. So the voice over IP systems goes down. No backups lines, no satellite links. 9 a.m., system access is lost. The backup doesn't respond because it was never tested. So 10 a.m., clients call looking for answers. No one can answer the phone. Wednesday, critical data is lost. No alternate site, no continuity. Friday, company's team, contract revenue, and most important, trust is lost. The company is out of business immediately. So let's run back and say you are a resilient company. 8 in the morning activates its continuity protocol. It's been tested before, so it works. 8:05, it's hybrid infrastructure, local servers plus cloud, automatically redirects workloads to a secondary site, let's say. 8:15 in the morning, remote teams operates smoothly from safe locations. Communication stays active via emergency lines and satellite links. And most important, they are able to support others through this crisis. 9 in the morning, data flows, operation continues, clients are served as nothing happens. By Friday, the company is protected. The reputation is intact. Customer retention, even gaining new ones from companies deemed like previous example. So this resilient company comes out stronger. Key insight, 70% of companies that implement effective continuity plan, those that are documented, tested regularly with verified backup and trained teams, thrive during crisis. Those that don't face consequence that goes far beyond technology. They lose market share, they lose talent, they lose trust. So which one of these stories reflects your company's reality today? Resiliency isn't just luck. It's a strategic decision built in advance, validated through testing, and strengthened with every conscious action. So what do you think about this, Santiago?
Wow, Alberto, I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of the first company for sure.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So after seeing what happens when a company isn't prepared, whether to a hurricane, a blackout, or a cyber attack, you might be asking, what if your company could operate with confidence even on the worst day of the year? Well, that day where everything is going so bad that you just want to go home and the day, right? Well, that's where our solution, Business Resilience as a Service, comes in. ERAS is an operational model that turns preparation into real leadership. It anticipates the unexpected, meets the most demanding compliance standards, and ensures your business keeps growing no matter what. And these are the three core principles that make all of this possible. First, we prevent cleverly by using visibility, deep analysis, and proactive simulations. It's about staying one step ahead, not just reacting. Second, we protect without borders. That means building a resilient architecture and applying distributed security. So protection is everywhere, not just at the perimeter. And third, we prepare for everything. Through continuous training, smart automation, and clear strategic direction, we make sure you're ready no matter what. And maybe you guys are asking to yourselves, how do we do it? Well, we start by designing hybrid continuity ecosystems where your most critical workloads stay available regardless of local conditions. Then we automate recovery processes so your operation stays active with minimal or no disruption when the unexpected happens. We also fortify your security posture, making sure your defenses hold strong, even during your most vulnerable moments. We align your operations with major compliance frameworks, so every move you make is audit and insured ready. And we also implement real-time business intelligence to help you measure impact and support strategic decision-making. So now let's take a closer look at how BRAS actually responds to the challenges we have been discussing in this webinar. First, for our regulatory compliance, frameworks like HIPAA, PCI DSS, FTC safeguard rules, NIST, and SOC 2 demand recovery plans that are not only documented, but also auditable and functional. BRAS ensures you're audit ready even in the middle of a crisis. Second, let's talk about advanced cybersecurity. Cyber attacks don't wait for the right moment. They don't wait until you're completely secure. They could happen at any time, and that's the truth. With BRAS, your data is protected through encryption, isolation, 24/7 monitoring, and automated response. Even if an attack happens during an emergency, your operations will stay secure. Third, there is what we were talking about, the disaster recovery part. Now we know that it's not just about having backups, it's about having real recovery. That means having deep defined recovery times, simulated scenarios, and automatic failover in minutes, not days. Fourth, with our cloud and IT management, we design a hybrid and multi-cloud environments with geographic redundancy, so your critical workloads stay active, even if an entire region goes offline. Fifth, with business intelligence, after an emergency, you need data, not assumptions, and BRAS gives you that. Real-time visibility to measure impact and make confident strategic decisions. And finally, our strategic leadership through BCIO. Because technology without direction is just infrastructure, right? So with BRAS, every station for your resilience journey is guided by experts who understand your business and your industry. So BRAS is a disaster-proof ecosystem. It's a living architecture that evolves with you, designed to resist, adapt, and lead in any scenario. Alberto, can you tell us who the future belongs to?
Well, the future belongs to those who design the resilience today. I want to pause there and I'm going to steal a phrase I heard yesterday in a conference. And it goes like, are we preparing ourselves for the future or are we reacting to the present? So today you made a valuable decision. You choose to invest time in strengthening your company's future. You just visualized how disasters can challenge continuity. You felt how true resilience transforms uncertainty into opportunity. And you discovered that the difference between stopping and moving forward is not about the company size. It's about strategic preparation. At Dapango Technologies, we believe that a more resilient world is built one company at a time. And that's our purpose, to support leaders like you in designing environments that resist, adapt, and thrive in any crisis. Resilience is designed, continuity is built, leadership is demonstrated in every decision you make today.
That's right, Alberto. And today you have the opportunity to take the next step. Schedule a session with our business resilience team. In that session, we will analyze your current level of preparedness. We will identify opportunities to fortify your strategy, and we will design an action plan to boost your continuity and long-term growth. And as Alberto said, at Dapango Technologies, we believe that building a better world starts with resilient companies. We have prepared an experience that recognizes your commitment to action.